Hey, welcome to AMAI with Chris and Justin. It's Friday, January 19th, where we talk about all things AI and sometimes some not AI things, but that's okay. And look at some of the new tools and new stuff going on. And Chris serves up links to me every day throughout the day. And then this is the time in which I catch up on those links and we find out what's popping out there.
All right. Well, ironically, yesterday, we were talking about, man, I really wish Canva had better access to generate images. And so
Yes.
what do I send Justin? Uh, 2 hours after our AMAI conversation yesterday, I send him a product hunt for a company called Templated. And
Yes.
now Justin will share that.
I will share that once I find this Zoom share control. Here we go. So here we go. This is the product hunt page, but let's go to the actual thing. Okay, so the problem that we were talking about is that as part of recording these videos, one of the things that we do is we have to transcribe this video to write titles and descriptions for the YouTube videos. We actually don't do any editing or trimming on these videos. But we then have to create a cover, a thumbnail cover that goes on the YouTube page, right? And this is just kind of a little bit of a pain in the ass kind of task because it's not something that we can yet easily automate. Whereas transcription and summaries, we can automate pretty well with some workflows in ChatGPT. We can't really do that well with imagery. So we were kvetching about this just yesterday about how, oh man, wouldn't it be nice to have some type of way to automate image creation programmatically? And lo and behold, here we go.
And by the way, that actually reminded me, now that you say that, when I look at this API, it's very similar to Banner Bear. And if you haven't looked at Banner Bear, we can look at that in a second too. But so anyway, this is very similar to that. So the question becomes, can we generate the background image and then can we just overlay the text?
Mhm.
And it does look like that's essentially what you could do here.
Yeah, this is really interesting. So I'm just looking at the API request here. Just looking at how exactly it works. How, the interesting part to me about this is I'm really curious, like, as a designer and as somebody who spends their day in design software laying stuff out. Um, I'm really interested in like some of the details about how they handle things like collision detection, right? Like if you pass in a label that's too long and it has to wrap and it like bumps into another element, how are they resolving those kind of issues in real time? Or are they, right? Maybe they're not and they're being naive about it.
Click on
But I'm
templates. Yeah, let's take a look.
very fascinated. I think we should just start trying it. So
So some of this is, the question is they're probably not generating background images. They're allowing you to use a pre-made template and pass content into it, which is perfectly fine, right?
right. So they're saying here when you use this template, hey, you have 75 characters. And if you pass in 175 characters of this template, the API is going to throw you an error.
Most likely. And it looks like you have like 5 or 6 different fields you fill out: the length of the read, the title, the image for the person, that kind of stuff. This is actually not, I don't think all that game changing is, um, it was too ironic to not mention it.
It is. We are going to sign up and we are going to see what happens real quick. Let's take this for a quick spin.
All
Okay,
right.
guys. Why, when I just registered, did you then like kick me back out to the login and not store the session token and automatically log me in? You make me come back out and log in again. Already getting points off here. But this is not a homepage throwdown. This is exploring.
Those are
So
actually,
let's create
those
a
are fun.
blank template. Let's get right into
Yeah.
the
Okay. So you have text styles you pass in, and then you'll have an API, and the
so
thing
let's,
is, this is not generating the background images, and I don't know if you can push in the background images or just the
well,
text.
you can add these images in here like this, but I don't know if you can add in custom images. There is a way to determine that, which is let's just try to bring in an image. Nope, that did not work. Okay, so I don't know if you can import your own images, which would be a surprising
Okay. I
limitation.
can't help but do a little bit of a homepage teardown here. Guys, where's the wizard walking me through it the first time?
Yeah, there's no kind of walkthrough. So let's add this. Let's just say like the Starry Night series.
All right. So I'm looking at the right, and the layers are all labeled text one, image one, etc. So my guess is the API will end up where you can replace all of those.
I assume so. So yeah.
All right. It's
Yeah.
I
So then
I'm not blown away. I'm already done. I'm bored. I have such high
uh
expectations of software.
yeah, I mean, I think it oh look, uploads. Okay, so you can upload your own stuff. Okay, so that's good. So you could upload your own, right? So here's our background. We could, in theory, upload this and put a text box here for the title, right? And maybe put something here for the image and programmatically create these.
Yeah, but I mean, I think it doesn't seem too much better than uh Canva's ability to do it.
Well, but a Canva, I don't think you could automate that, right?
Well, remember you can do the spreadsheet multi upload where you can just dump data in and it'll generate from a template.
Oh yeah, I guess you can do that. I don't know if you can do it from an API call. Maybe you can. Because Canva does have an API.
Yeah, I think this unfortunately it's not that much better than Canva. They've probably
It's
just improved their like look, the layers here are better named so that the API is probably a little easier to use.
yeah.
Yeah.
But like this doesn't look good as a template. Like there's no padding around here, right? Like
No,
this would all have to be cleaned up.
it's weak.
So unfortunately, I
Like
think it's an interesting idea. I mean, conceptually it's cool. Just the execution is a little weak at the moment.
yeah, go to Banner Bear. Now that we've done that, and I don't
Okay.
know why I didn't think about this before.
Banner Bear. APF. Okay, so this is essentially the
Literally the
same.
same thing. Yeah, the same path.
Okay.
Um, this
Yep.
one's been around for a little while. And they do talk a lot about the integrations, right? For generating the images. Just do a demo because that's like, why did the other one not have demos, right? Like, just drives me nuts.
Yeah. So let's do like a uh God, what demo do I want to look at? I
Just
don't know.
click on one.
Twitter
Doesn't
to
matter.
Instagram. Let's paste a tweet in. Oh, you sent me a tweet earlier. You sent me a tweet earlier. So
The tweet I sent you, you're gonna that where that will probably be a side note for this converse for AMAI because it's not AI related. But it's I think it's really interesting.
okay, so let's see what happens here. I'm pasting in this DHH. Okay. I mean, you know, pretty interesting. Pretty interesting because yeah, like you could definitely set up a pipeline to automatically take your tweets and pump them into Instagram. So that's actually definitely helpful, immediately helpful
Yep.
because you can start to see how you can create this kind of cross posting strategy, very turnkey,
Mm-hmm.
multi image demo. So let's look at this like values to generate images you want to demo templates. So okay, let's do a beach. We'll do woman number 5. And we'll do quick brown fox. And let's do Montserrat because I'm using that in a project right now.
I'm sorry.
Oh, you know. Oh, it's the new Comic Sans. Um okay.
Yeah. So like
Okay.
this, I like again, guys from Templated. Look at Banner Bear. These demos show off the value of the software so much better. And in this case, they could have pre-saved all of these responses. So there's like no computational cost to generating this and showing how it works, right? Smart cropping, by the way, like you showed that example of from an AI. Look at this.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that's really interesting.
Um, so again,
I love all of these free tools that they've created
You
too.
know
But
that they're
this is
generating a ton of SEO value.
right. By the way, guys, it's the strategy known as engineering as marketing, right? So if you have a SaaS or any kind of tool online, this is one of the best ways to get users and to spread what you're doing is to use your technology to build little one-off tools that don't replace your value, but demonstrate it and provide a little bit of value to people for free. And you give those tools away, and people come back, um,
Okay.
come back.
So let's try the next one then. Try Sinatra. So because I think
Okay.
not like this has a little AI in it, but it's very, very minor, right? And it's just about image detection and collision.
Yep. So
Um,
Sinatra. Oh yeah. Yep. Try Sinatra. Got it. Okay. I have heard of Sinatra. I feel like isn't Sinatra like a?
it's a
I
sing.
thought that
He's a
Sinatra
singer.
was
He's
like a
Italian.
CI. Well, I thought it was like a CI/CD DevOps coordination pipeline, but
Oh,
maybe it's
there's probably 100 of them, right?
there probably
So,
is. Yeah. I maybe thinking of
so
something.
we were talking about this. Chat GPT. You're writing things down, and they're very hard to share. So,
Uh-huh.
um, anyway, it just so happened that I saw this yesterday, and in terms of automating the tasks. Now, this is basically just a framework for running ChatGPT and through the API,
Mhm.
and having some integrations to make things easier. So,
Okay. So I want to see this in action.
so do I, but it's $47 for the lifetime thing. So I just wanted you
Can
to
you
walk.
not? Is there no free trial?
There is no free trial. Uh,
Guys, what are you doing? I'm obviously not gonna to test. I'm not going to give you
wh-
$50.
well, so the thing is, I think this is a desktop app.
There's still ways to solve that problem.
Sure, but I
Obviously not. I'm I mean,
so
it seems interesting, but I've been let down so much.
so same
Not
here.
even a demo
Same
or a
here.
video.
Same here. Click on add-ons. So this is what the only reason I haven't just bought it because for $47, frankly, I can't tell you the number of info products I buy. But I get let down so often. When I see, hey, all of the add-ons are just basically Notion pages, I go, ooh, how much of this is just a Notion with pre-written scripts and things versus the actual bot, right? Um, so
Interesting.
um,
Interesting.
and I think this is ultimately, I find this is really, really fascinating because for the reality is for the vast majority of people, if they want to take and get a prompt set designed to help their use case, these dollar amounts are so trivial that you should do it just to learn how to have a better designed prompt.
Mhm.
Right. So like
Mhm.
I have no problem with this. My challenge is the bot an actual bot and then you just plug in these prompts, or is it just like it again, the lack of a product demo is a huge issue.
Lack of a
Uh,
demo and lack of like a real good explanation of a use case here, right? Like that's the thing that
oh,
I'm missing.
go to Sinatra Max again. I think they tried to do that. Um, scroll down. They tried to do that
Talk about the
in
problem. They talk about the
here.
problem.
Yeah. So
But like I want like a here's how we use it to coordinate your calendar with your email with your thing. Here's an
oh,
example of a workflow. You know what I'm
scroll up.
saying?
Yeah, scroll up a little bit. Nope, down. The two comparisons. Sending cold emails with GPT takes 45 seconds.
But like
Auto replying.
the problem is I don't trust this
Oh, I
until I
agree.
see it.
I'm not disagreeing, right? So
Yeah.
I
I guys, you got to show your work. You've got to show how this stuff works and let people actually understand how they would use it, not
well then
speaking in these
yeah, so these are
generalities.
this is they're giving examples without any understanding of how it works. I This is
Right.
just a general like I know we're not doing a UX teardown, but like show don't tell is like one of my key things.
100%.
And I do this in sales, I do this in marketing, I do this in product. You have to show people, you don't tell them. Um,
Yep.
So
That's
I would
exactly
go
it.
ahead and say, like, had they had one video walking me through this, there's the UI, right? So their UI is
There is a little bit of UI finally. And we're actually only halfway through the page here. So there may be some more stuff to see.
well.
I mean,
Then
okay, this is an
don't.
activity log. Like,
All right, wait. Sinatra box are powered by Make. So now they're already going up. Scroll up a hair.
okay,
So
okay.
they're
So,
telling you you have to integrate with, you have to buy a Make integration.
well, I mean, yeah, I mean, is this make as in like make files make, or is this what is
No, Make is probably one of the biggest integration platforms for like more enterprisey. So it's better than Zapier. And let me rephrase that. It's uh I've seen it used to do like a whole bunch of really deep integration stuff. So
yeah,
it's like a Zapier.
interesting. Okay, so this is a
Okay, so
picture of a sales page, which is weird.
no, I don't think that's the sales page. I think that's the software.
Or oh, is that the software itself? Oh,
Dashboard,
I guess
prompts.
so.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so these are the ones you can run.
So all these are these are GPTs.
These are
This
GPTs
is
with
GPTs.
pre-built integrations, and then you just have to pay for the integration. Which, by the way, guys, for $50 for most people, that's an absolute steal.
Well, for sure, right? I mean, yeah, I mean, because if it saves you an hour, you're good, basically. Yeah.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
this
they keep doing this, right? They keep doing like the old way, the new way, the old way, the new way, without like really actually showing an actual example,
yeah.
which makes me feel like it doesn't actually work. It's like a theory, but
So
like it doesn't actually execute. And that's the thing, guys. Last mile execution on this stuff is so fucking important because the how this actually does the work, the quality level at which this does the work, the fidelity at which this does the work is all that matters here. The concept is fine. This is not a new concept. This concept is everywhere. There's a million apps like this. There will be another million apps like this, bots, intelligent agents, workflows, chaining, all that kind of stuff. That doesn't matter. The only thing that fucking matters is does it fucking work and is the quality there? And if when you don't show it, oh, sorry, it makes me so irate. Like, why can we not show this?
well, keep going down. So now I'm starting to get mad about how long the page is, right?
I am too.
Um,
Okay, this is how work should look like. Great. Before, after, blah, blah, blah. Okay, fine. I don't really care about warranty and safety. What I care about is show me an example of it working so I can get blown away. Facebook auto comment bot. Don't trust it. It's going to get me banned. It's going to do shitty work. Instagram auto comment bot. Same thing. LinkedIn viral poster bot. Same thing. LinkedIn news poster bot. Same thing. All of these I don't trust because I can't see the output result.
yeah, keep going down.
No value. Reviews. I'm not going to watch them. Testimonials. Maybe fine. Um, more selling, more listing the same stuff over
Oh
and over.
my gosh, no videos.
Um, money back guarantee, which I think is interesting. It's also interesting they put a 14-day money back guarantee on their prompts, their prompt documents, because wouldn't you just copy it and then ask for your money back? But,
Um, so the thing is, these kinds of things have so much potential, but I'm gonna go like I have to go with Justin here. You have to show your work with AI because there's already this distrust of having somebody else do your work for you. And so having the whole thing being abstracted is of low value. All right.
mhm.
So the next thing that I wanted to show off is probably not a specific link, but you want to open up Chat GPT so we can generate an image real quick.
Let's do it. So we just gotta switch up my thing here.
It's a little mini template, and we can probably turn this into a short about how to generate stock photography.
Okay.
Right?
Well, yeah. So let me get this. All right. You got ChatGPT now?
Yep, I see it.
All
So
right.
you can copy and paste the text that I sent you at 2:34
Yesterday.
yesterday.
That was yes, yes, yes. I used this yesterday actually to generate a number of images.
So the concept here is you do generate a stock photo for the concept of, and I put let's try this, release notes for a software project. And then I added a second line below that because I'm merging these things. Maybe make it look like a scroll or a tome from a JRPG, Japanese RPG, RPG
JRPG.
that
Okay.
helps someone level up.
Helps someone level up. Okay.
And
I like it.
below on the bottom ones, just put a dash between all four, or in front of all four of those.
No
Again,
background. Relatively significant. So this is our style guidance here.
yep.
Okay. Good.
So hit enter. So what I'm trying to show is that I'm a really big fan of having like the beginning of a template to make your work very easy. And so generate a stock photo for the concept of, that's what I always use. And then with the additional style info, I always use. And then I can just put in what I want. Now, because of that, you get sometimes really fun responses like this.
Yep.
And it's basically copy paste and usable. So what I do is I remove the background and then I plop it on a slide and I get hundreds of these. So let's try one more, copy and paste it again.
Yep.
So now what I put was running with scissors in the style of a Sunday morning cartoon. And again, you have to put the dashes. I really hate that
And you might not actually have to, right? The line break.
but I've seen different,
Probably
like,
enough,
yeah.
but the anal part of me wants to have it all. Okay. So we'll do
So,
it again.
so we do it again, and the image it generated for me was awesome. So we'll see. Like, by the
I
way,
do remember it looked very Archie.
it did very Archie. And it was really like super usable. Yeah. So like, okay, maybe not something
Not
you
as
want.
good as I love it that it's like they broke the scissors in half.
Uh,
Holding the handle of the scissors in one hand and the other side of it the other.
but Justin's point is he just said mine looked like Archie, which it did. So maybe you say this is what I'm looking for. Make it look more like Archie. Now you can have that dialogue with it, right? You've already given it the base criteria, and the
Yep.
dialogue builds upon it. It makes it so much faster to iterate.
Yep.
If you're working with a designer, you get this back, 5 hours later, and you're like, dude, this sucks. I want it to look more like Archie. Wait another 5 hours, right? Like,
If you're lucky.
yeah.
Oh
And
man, Archie is getting serious.
wow. And there's like a triple bladed scissor over there. So are they perfect? No, but like I've gotten some really good responses with this kind of very simple base text. And so that's the only thing I would like tell you guys to do is always try to figure out what you want to reuse and then format your prompts a little bit. And it just makes life so much easier.
Yep.
All right. Now
One,
switching
one thing I
subject. Go
one thing I
ahead.
want to point out here real quick that I just find really neat because I think there is, even though the scissors has 3 blades, and look, again, this is going to get better over time. Like these problems will get solved out. But one thing that I think is just a really neat detail here that it was able to do is the stippling for the shadows, right? This stippling, this kind of newspaper print look, right? Which is exactly how a shadow looks like when it's printed on newsprint because it's printed in 3 layers, right? And it's amazing how they replicated that little subtle detail. It's pretty good. Pretty
Uh,
good.
yeah, I love it. I love it. And so anyway, that's it for the AI stuff. Do you want to take a look at the tweet and actually look at the
Let's
software?
let's take a look at this real quick.
Uh,
Yeah, let's look at this real quick.
So DHH is one of the founders of Basecamp, and he is also one of the guys behind Ruby on Rails.
Hmm?
Actually, And so they earlier this year or last year said they were going to have a concept called once, which is when you buy software once. Um, and it's no shock. It's basically going back to license and support. But in
Right.
this
It's back
case,
to the box on the shelf model.
and by the way, he's been a big critic of the cloud infrastructure, and Basecamp got rid of a lot of their cloud infrastructure because it was 10 times more expensive than running their own hardware.
Mhm.
And people think the cloud is cheap, and it's not once you
Mhm.
understand your scale. So
Mhm.
he's basically launching a Slack alternative for $299 one time. And it includes mobile apps, and you get 3 years of support and maintenance and bug fixes. So now you can scroll through this video really quickly. I think so. The first comment is actually, let's do that real quick before you look at the software.
I wonder what the ratio of customers who actually need the product versus every Rails dev just wanting their copy to read up.
And that's so true because they're getting the code, right? Like, how many Rails dev are
Right.
going to be like, I get to have code from Basecamp directly to
They
see
created Rails.
they
They
created
invented
Rails.
Rails. Right.
So I think that's true. So now I would open the video
Do
full
people still
screen.
build stuff in Ruby on Rails? Is that still a thing?
I mean, GitHub is on Ruby on Rails.
Is GitHub on Rails?
It is. Shopify's on Rails.
That's because they were created 15 years ago when Rails was the shit. I mean, Twitter was on Rails at one point. It's no
Yes,
longer, but it used to be.
sure. The only reason they switched is because they thought whoever was in charge thought it'd be cooler to spend more money instead of
Yeah.
fixing their Rails implementation, because Shopify is massive, right? GitHub is massive.
Massive.
No, Rails is very, very much alive and kicking. So yeah,
Really interesting. So, and this is Campfire. I mean, this is Campfire. They've had Campfire for
He set up a
while. I'm gonna turn this video off.
Yeah,
Or
go to the video full screen. Yeah, I was gonna say I think the UI flourishes are really neat. So you might want to like just hop back and see how it works.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, by the way,
Stuff
Airbnb is on Rails.
is there maybe on Rails?
Yeah.
Hmm.
So it's a nice looking, chat.
Yeah, I mean, it's not bad. I think that it's interesting. I do think it's an interesting I do think that it's an interesting strategy. I will be surprised if this works at scale.
Yeah. Or the sale.
Yeah, the app.
Oh, I bet.
Not that I don't think it can work at scale. Will they be able to get any kind of meaningful market penetration? I don't know. I mean, I'd have to look at the product to see if there's real differentiation here, but
I think
trying to build a chat app right now is the last thing I would try to do.
Here's the thing. Let's say it took them 10 developers for a year. Would you say that's probably, I mean, they've already had the app. They have a lot of domain experience. 10 developers for a year.
Yeah, I mean, I would have to look and see. It's hard to tell, but yeah, sure. For the purpose of the thought experiment.
For the thought experiment.
At $1.5 million.
$1.5 million. Let's go high. Let's go $3 million, right?
Okay. $3 million. Yep.
$3 million.
Yep.
They're gonna make that back.
Yeah, you gotta sell 1,000 of them?
Well, 1,000.
10,000 of them. You got sell 10,000 of
them. They're going to make that back. They're probably going to get 5,000 Ruby devs buying it just to see how the source code, right? Like they're probably going to.
Yeah, I mean, they have an interesting and different. They have an advantage, obviously, because of the brand. They have a list of millions. They probably have a list of 40 million people in their back pocket. But if I were a no-name startup, there's no fucking way I would try to go build a chat app.
Sure, but just think about every single person who uses Basecamp and saying, "Hey, do you guys still pay like
Do people use Basecamp still? Is that still a thing?
It's still the #1 project management software, probably.
No possible way.
Yeah.
No way it's the #1.
For small businesses.
Way.
Yeah.
can't be. Come on.
Dude, they're doing, for last I heard, they're still doing like 300 or 400 million a year.
What in Basecamp?
Have you not seen it in a while?
No, because it was not good. It's been so like destroyed by other tools that are better.
Oh no, not at all. And by the way, here's the Basecamp advantage. That massive advantage, such a massive advantage.
I can't
$300,
wait to hear this.
$300 a month, unlimited users.
Okay. Okay. I mean, that's definitely
All right, now go to Basecamp. You got to go to Basecamp. We're going to go to pricing, and we're going to take a look at why it's still popular. Okay, we're going to skip the features. We're just going to go to pricing and sign up.
Okay.
All right, so scroll down a little bit. I don't care about this stuff right here. Up just a hair first, so you can see the things that it says it's replacing. Up a little more, right? Unlimited projects, loads of storage, free guests, every feature you need. Pop, 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 pop. Right.
Okay.
Now go scroll down to the pricing difference for 20 people for a 20-person company.
Yep.
It's getting rid of a ton of other softwares. For a small company that's not a tech company, you're still thinking tech and tech only. If you're a small company, this does everything you need.
Yeah. I mean, I hear you.
All right.
I'm just not.
Log in. You can do a free trial now. They do free trials.
I bet I still have an account. Let's see. Nope. Let me check my account real quick and see if this works. Nope. Yes, I don't have an account. Used to. I don't think that this is gonna work. Oh shit, it did work.
Oh well, those are like Basecamp 2. They're on Basecamp 4. By the way, one thing that I've always loved about 37 Signals, the company that became Basecamp, is they believed in software forever. And so if you signed up for something, they support that forever.
Yep.
So even though they're on Basecamp 4, they offer this Basecamp 2.
What's funny is I don't want to go into either one of these accounts. I want a new account.
Yeah, I would log out and actually create one with your other email.
Yeah, I guess so. Okay. But why can't I create another account? I don't understand. Why isn't there like a add new account button? Okay, let's try this again. Okay. If you ask me for a credit card, I'm going to kick you in the teeth.
Mink. Me Inc. I love that.
Wait, what?
What was your Basecamp password?
Guys, let me just show you something from a UX and copy standpoint that is no good. We didn't recognize you. Since you've used Basecamp before, you fucking recognize me if you know that I used Basecamp before. I just these kind of little details just absolutely I don't understand.
There's not very many software companies that I would absolutely love to work with.
Yeah.
Basecamp is one of them. It's because they are so
bad at UX and you want to fix it.
No, so opinionated.
I'm kidding. Yes, yeah.
I love people who are willing to have opinionated software.
Okay, right. So here we are.
Okay,
we're inside of Basecamp.
Yep. So let's create a new project so we can walk through this, right? And let's just call it. I mean, I love that they have
level 10 AI.
Level 10 AI. Add a description. The goods, fine. So here's what's interesting is they have these tools that you turn on and off for each project.
Yep.
Um,
I love a Kanban board. I want all of it. I want
okay.
all of it.
So create tools.
What is this little move the needle?
This is one of my favorite things. So
That is interesting.
and so they had
That's
a really
kind of interesting. I mean, I think it's interesting. I don't know how practically useful it is, but it is really an interesting concept.
so one of the things they talked about with that is for projects, people have this concept that like, hey, it's 80% done, so we're good. But they have this concept, no, it's 80% done, and now we're stuck. And they talked about like, hey, you know when you've crossed the hill, right?
Yep.
And that so they called it a hill chart on purpose. It's like we know when we've crossed the hill and we're on our way down. It doesn't. We could be 80% done and just barely crossing the hill. And so they specifically don't use percentages, and that's the thing I like about them. They are very opinionated when they talk about this stuff. So let's go to to-dos, right? Like there's some things that they do very, very well. So you create these lists and then you name the list and then you have to-dos, and obviously you can do different things, but did you check? I think this is important. No, go back to that.
Oh, my bad. Can I edit this list?
Yeah, scroll down. Scroll down. Oh, interesting. Close out of that real quick.
I had one chance to do that, huh?
I don't know.
I don't actually know how to cancel it. I don't know how to. Okay.
Oh, wait, what are the options on the edit there? Track this on the hill chart. So this is what I thought was interesting. Now you can add this to-do list onto the hill chart. So if you have a number of sets of things on here, you can.
Interesting. Build the thing. Okay.
All right. So the thing about Basecamp is what they're saying is each to-do list is actually the equivalent of like the mini project. You're not tracking each task. You're tracking the to-do list on the, so you could create 4 to-do lists inside this project and track each one of them on the hill chart.
Yeah, one thing that's interesting is like drag each dot to adjust its position on the chart. Oh, okay. And this is like when you're going to tackle this list, essentially.
Well, read what it says. Figuring things out, making it happen.
Right. But like, where do I if I just put it here, is my project done?
No, this is just purely a visual representation.
I don't know what I'm supposed to do with this. I love this concept of like the hill chart, figuring things out, making it happen. I think that's really cool. I'm not sure how to actually use this I'm not sure how to use it.
Okay, here's how I would say you would use it. When you're on a big software project, remember they work in 6-week cycles. You have a whole bunch of to-do lists that are wrapped around this project. And now you can track how many of them are in the figuring it out phase versus the making it happen phase. So it's a visual indicator of each of the big sets of things you're doing. It's just a visual indicator. That's all it is. Yeah, but it's a nice visual indicator.
It's interesting. It's definitely interesting. I have lots of questions, but I am very curious. And to your point earlier, I do agree with you, which is this kind of opinionated approach to talking about the actual task at hand, instead of just giving you a container and saying like, you figure out how you want to think about it, giving you ways to think about the work, I think is really interesting and really valuable.
Yep. Sure. And so as part of it, they do URLs really well. But so each layer, you can see kind of this card approach where you stack up and up and up and up. So now you're in the to-dos, but if you click back a layer, you could go in here. There's docs, chat, and all the different things that are here. What's interesting is this is basically one of the things I've always really liked about Basecamp is that you have chat and message board as 2 different concepts, and they're associated with each project or team. So each one of these containers
Yep.
could be a project or a team. And so
Yep.
now your chat is actually associated with the project, which is one of the things that pisses me off in most chat systems is everything is separated.
Yeah.
Now click on the 3 dots up there for this, because there's one thing I really, really like. And I'm trying to see where it is, and maybe they don't offer it. And setup tools, go to that again. So you can add another. So just so you can see how this works, you can actually have multiple to-do lists on this project or multiple message boards. And this is like super interesting. And you say, why would you want that? Well, you could have exactly a message boards that dedicated to just feature IDs versus, let's say, user feedback, just like Justin did. You can tell he's from
Until I do product management.
project. Well, you can tell he does UI and stuff. So you can actually topically create your project around how your project needs to be structured, which is so much. I know it sounds stupid, but it's so different than the way other people think about things.
Yeah, it's interesting because like the problem that it does solve in that regard, which is a tough problem, it is a tough problem, and quite frankly, I think it's a pretty difficult problem to solve holistically. But is the idea of consolidating all this activity around one centralized place, right? So, for example, we use Jira at Atlassian Jira, and Jira is, while powerful and good, all it is a big ass ticketing system, right? Like it doesn't really have any kind of intelligence or any kind of workflow interestingness. It's just a ticketing system with some ways to do some automations. It doesn't have an opinion about how you do things. It doesn't really care about getting the work done. It's just a box. And so like then we use Slack. And so we end up like naming Slack channels to correspond with Jira spaces, right? So you end up with these colloquial ways of tying things together that sort of this is attempting to solve that problem in a more consolidated way. Now, I think there's a real big difference between product theory and product, like, and the reality of a product actually being adopted in that way. And while I think the theory is true, do I think the adoption actually works that way? I don't think so, because I think there's a lot of nuance, gray area, and messiness. But I do think conceptually, very interesting strategy.
Okay, well, so now go to, I'm sure you've seen like docs and files. So one of the things that makes me mad about Jira is then you have to use Confluence, and then everything is separated. And like in permissioning across these things is painful. Well, here you can just create folders and you can create docs and you can do integrations, and all of your shit for a project can live here. And by the way,
is in one place.
You can add external people.
Yeah.
And theirs, unlike Jira, is very clean, and you can actually see create a doc, and then I don't know, like unless you add people, it actually says on the top, like, hey, other people can see this. So you're aware that an external person can see this. And you're actually you're basically warned that people can see this.
Right. Yeah. Which is smart, right? Because again, another thing that you'll often see in client projects or inside of an agency or inside of something like that is you'll see prefixes like int for internal and things like that people use as signals to other people. Hey, by the way, this is an internal space, or this is an external client facing space. So like, treat it accordingly. So having that reminder all the time is obviously quite important.
All right. And I don't know I actually can't find this right now, but there's automatic check-ins. Let's see if we can find that, and then we'll wrap it up. So by the way, the lineup, let's just click on all the links real quick, right? So the lineup, this shows you all your work here, right? So across your timeline, because people care about that. Pings, this is all the chats. Hey, this is just messages to you. There's the activity tracker, which again, I've always loved this activity tracker. It's so nice in a large organization to see all the work across all the projects that you have access to, and being able to see what people have done. Someone's activity is awesome. Like, by the way, mission control, look at that. Tell me that if you're an actual manager with 50 projects going on, that this wouldn't be a nice view for you to really understand.
If my people are keeping this up to date. 100%.
All right. So click on one of these. There's another thing called automatic check-ins. and I don't know where they are right now, and it's pissing me off. By the way, look, you like the visual feedback on the docs and files?
Oh, hang on,
Did you notice that?
uh, oh, with the
Yeah.
preview. I mean, kind of a very Google Docsy.
Yeah. All right. Go to schedule. Maybe it's on schedule. I don't know where the automatic feedback is, and it's pissing me off. This is probably my favorite feature, and I can't find it right now. And it may be that because you don't have other people in here. But
Right. Yeah.
automatic feedback. I'm just going to give you the link to the page so you can see it. I'll send it to you in Discord. This is my favorite feature, and it has solved so many issues in projects for me. So automatic check-ins is for each project, okay, or each group. Because remember, in Basecamp, it could be a project or a group.
Yep.
It asks questions of everyone in that group on the schedule that you want it to be done.
Yep. Stand up bot.
So it's but the difference is that you do a stand up, or what did you work on this week, or what books have you read this month? You can just go whole hog. Well, when you're managing, let's say, a customer account, and you want to send them a weekly, you want to send them a status update on Friday, you have a bot that sends out Thursday night that says, everybody put in what you did for this customer today, so that your person who's responsible for the status update can get everything collected.
Yep.
These are so useful. It's not even funny, because otherwise you have to run around and ask everybody individually.
Yep. Which, by the way, in that scenario you described, actually the status update should come in, go to AI, which consolidates them, writes it, and then a human just goes, looks good. That's how that should.
I'm not disagreeing, but this weekly check-ins for most organizations, like fine, tech companies have a lot of different things. For most organizations, this solves like 80% of what you need. Asking people questions is what most managers do.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure. For sure. Yep.
So do I think tons of tech companies use it? Maybe not. Do I think tons of people in the real world use it? Absolutely.
Interesting. I mean, hey, it's good to see it still alive and running. I mean, I used to be a Basecamp user way back in the day, like 2007, 8, 9 time frame, right? So I always liked Basecamp. I always liked 37 Signals. As a company, I read the rework book. I've always loved their philosophy on work and their philosophy on product development. So it's good to see them still doing it.
Actually, now that I said that, open up the card. You didn't open up the Kanban board, which is a little bit different. Or actually, just click the right arrow here so you can go to the next feature, right? So they have the triage versus, right? So they have the concept of that. Are you doing it right now?
Yeah, this is the backlog.
Yeah, it's just it's a backlog, right? Like, I know you're used to it. It's not a huge deal for you,
right?
But
yeah. But for somebody who isn't used to those concepts, this is a nice way to present.
Yeah, but actually look at the individual column of the Kanban board. They have yeah, look down though, on hold. They have a segmentation where you can pause things inside the.
So that is nice. That is legitimately a pretty nice, nuanced understanding about the true messiness about how projects go, right? Because there's an assumption in Kanban boards that like you load stuff up and it just moves itself across the lanes, right? Unabated. But what really happens is you put something on there, you get into it, you realize, oh shit, we need more information. We need to put this on pause. We got to come back to it, whatever. And it's like, do you put it back in the backlog? Do you leave it rotting in the column? And so this acknowledges that imperfection in that process, which I think is really great.
Yeah. Now again, this is all about opinionated software. You do it right. So click the next right arrow there. Just we kind of, it's really hard to look at software when it's empty, but like these, you can see that the project life cycle of what's anticipated from a timeline perspective of what's going on. And they work in 6-week sprints, like I've said. So you can see there's 6-week projects going on, and what's going on with that. So they have software that works in the real world is the best way for me to describe it, right? See, there's the automatic check-ins. Oh, wait, go back. So like there's an example of an automatic check-in. What did you do
Right,
this
yep.
week? Like, those are such good questions.
Yeah.
And message
Yeah.
boards are great for threads and deep knowledge versus chat. I just love that they actually separate each of these things in
Yeah,
a
it's
useful
smart.
way.
Yeah,
Then
it's
one more over. And now here's a hill chart where you can actually see what the like a big project with multiple to-do lists would look like.
Yep.
That is I love those. I gotta say, I love the software and tool consolidation. So fun fact, and we're going a little bit over, but from a UI perspective, you know what, or just from a user perspective, not a UI perspective, from a user perspective, the number one complaint I heard at my old company from people that I can't mention right now, the number one complaint we heard from our users is they had to use too many systems. So
yeah, that's always the complaint. That's always the complaint because of the way that software gets adopted, and it's not actually a software problem. It's actually a company culture problem.
well, so I guess I can say this much. I won't say who. Oh, I used to work in hotel software, right? So you know how many software products? This is just a fun fact. How many software products does the average SaaS subscribe to?
Oh God, I don't know, but it's a lot.
It's over 150. Okay.
Yeah.
Now at a hotel, the GM has to actually use software for every department. Okay.
Yep.
So every department ends up with 5 to 10 pieces of software that's specific to their needs. And
Yep.
it's just overwhelming.
Yep.
But the average small business really only needs to do a handful of things, right? Like project management and time tracking and these kinds of things. They would be better off with something simpler and more holistic than 12 different products.
Yeah, I mean, I think we don't have time to get in this conversation, but we should queue this up for next week. We should have a deeper dive conversation into what I think is actually the fallacy of consolidation. And we should talk about that next week.
I love the concept of best of breed versus consolidation, right? And here's why I think Basecamp is interesting here. It's because they don't attempt to be super flexible in everything. It's like, to do this well and to do it our way, you have to do it our way.
You have to do it our way. You have to do it the way that we think is the best way. Yeah, absolutely. No, we should have that conversation next week. I would love to now, but I don't have time. Because I think, just to tease that, the question about consolidation versus not is actually not a product question. And so we'll talk about that next week.
I love that. And it actually is a good discussion with AI.
Yes.
And I will tell you why consolidation is necessary.
Okay.
Because wrangling your data from 50 sources so that AI can use it effectively is much harder than if you have a consolidated product.
You're not wrong. I think, yes, you're not wrong. I can't wait to unpack this next week.
Thank you, guys, and have a good day.